Hello and welcome again to Team Leader Toolkit's Nuts and Bolts. It's fantastic to have you here. We've got a great session on today, so I'm hoping this will help a lot of you. It's all about 6 tips to managing an unhappy team. So if your team are whinging and whining and they just seem generally unhappy and it's doing your head in, let's go over some 6 tips that might help you through this phase. It might not even be a phase, it might just be the culture, so we need to try and turn that around. So I'm going to show you some 6 things that you can do, and starting from today, to try and turn that around and make them a little bit happier about what they're doing. Okay, so, you'll see lots of employees when they get disgruntled, when they get unhappy, you'll see them whinging about, they might say things like, oh, management doesn't have a clue what they're doing, or why doesn't anyone listen to us, or they can't seriously expect us to work like this. So you might hear these sorts of things coming from your team, and that's quite normal. So don't think that you've got the worst team in the world. That is quite normal. So we're going to go through 6 ways that we can try and turn that into something a little bit more positive and maybe more constructive conversations. So here's some pointers. So number 1, I want you to listen. Now, I don't mean listen to every whinge and whine and gripe that you hear, but listen to the team's point of view, because they might have stuff in there that's really valid, that's sort of, blanketed into all these sort of negativity. So what you want to do is really try and find some clues of what actually they're saying. What are they finding really, really difficult to work with, to live with on a day-to-day basis? And this isn't paying lip service. This is actually listening to what they're saying and then having some actions about what they're saying. So, for example, if they're saying, oh, management never listened to us, we never get any information, it's a whole load of bollocks, blah, 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 blah. If you're hearing all this, go through all the whinging and whining, you get the clue that they don't feel communicated to. So once you've understood that, once you've sort of peeled off all the layers and realised that that's what the gripe that they have, or one of the gripes that they have, start saying to them, okay, I've listened to you. I've realised that you're not getting communicated enough. So what we're going to do is every time something comes down, I'm going to include in our weekly meeting or our daily meeting, I'm going to include communication. And that's going to be about what the discussions are that's being done in head office. Is there any projects coming down the line? Or if anything that you have got that you want me to pass up the chain, we'll be able to have those conversations in that. So then we can open those communication lines. Things like that. So just try and unravel and unpeel all the whinges and moans and see what actually you can do about it. Okay, so not paying lip service per se, but actually listening to something that they might have a gripe about, unpeeling all the whinging and whining around it, and then doing something about it. Okay, so that's number 1, listening. Number 2, let them be part of the solution. So this is a really good way of them getting skin in the game. So if you've got big projects coming down the line, if you've got something that needs to change, if you've got, you might be working on machines and there's going to be a new way to, have startup or changeover or whatever it may be, get them part of the solution. So, for example, if you've got a deadline coming down, if you've got a project with a big deadline, sort of get them in the team meeting and say, hey guys, this is coming down the line. This is our deadline. It's pretty tight. What are your ideas on how we can get through this? And get solutions from the team, get them involved. Number 1, they start getting accountability of that particular project. Number 2, they've got skin in the game, so they're less likely to push back so much. So really, if you can, let them be part of the solution. So number 1 is listening. Number 2 is let them be part of the solution. Number 3, get rid of all the corporate speak. So if you're in the meeting and you're saying things that are very corporate orientated, so for example, we're going to align on our goals. We're going to, from this way forward, we're going to do this, and we're going to be needing 110%, blah, 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 blah. That corporate speak doesn't work for a lot of team members. They just feel it's a lot of fluff and tree hugging stuff. So what we want to do is we want to try and park that, and don't sugarcoat things, don't water them down. Let's get to specifics, that stuff that they understand and stuff that's tangible for them to cling on to, rather than sort of insight and all that sort of stuff. So rather than talking about what what corporate might be talking about, sort of filter it down and work out what they're actually trying to say, and then talk to your people like that. So when you use all this corporate speak, sometimes team members can take that as, they're not talking to us, it's all high level, we don't even know what that means, blah, 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 blah. So it's really, really important to sort of try and filter it down, if you like. And so don't be a funnel, be a filter. So then you can turn it into speak that they're going to understand and they're going to relate to. So number 1, listening. Number 2, let them be part of the solution. Number 3, get rid of the corporate talk and all the jargons that go with it. All right, number 4, honesty is the best policy. So what we're talking about here is being brutally honest in an organisation is actually a new thing, because there's lots of holding on to information. There's lots of, don't tell them at this stage because of this. And there's good reasons for that, but you can be honest about that. So, for example, if there's some changes coming, if you're having an org restructure, if, all those sorts of things, and somebody asks you a question from your team and they're discussing it, but you don't know what the answers are, say that. Yes, they are discussing that, and I'm not privy to those answers, but I have got a meeting with them on Thursday, so I'm hoping I'll get some answers then. Bang, that's honest. Okay, so... and it's okay to admit that you don't have all the answers. So it's okay to say, I'd love to tell you about this, but do you know what? I don't have the answer to this. Hey, if you've got a solution to that particular part, I'd love to hear about it because I certainly don't at this stage. So those sorts of things, having that genuineness and that authenticity makes a world of difference with regards to building trust and rapport with that team and making them feel like you're working with them rather than for the ivory tower, if you know what I mean. Okay, so we've got listening, we've got let them be part of the solution, we've got part the corporate speak, and we've got honesty is the best policy. Number 5 is don't mistake cynicism for pragmatism. There's a fine line there, okay? People that are cynical, they're whinging and complaining and all that sort of stuff. But if there's pragmatism in there, it's because they don't see any benefit about what's about to happen. So pragmatists, if they don't see benefit in things, then, they'll push back. It doesn't interest them. So if you hear your team saying, no, that's not going to work, no, we've done that before and it was a load of rubbish or whatever, then try and get through the cynicism and see what pragmatism is in there. So maybe it's a practical thing. Maybe they're saying, no, because in 2007 we did this similar thing. These are the mistakes that were made. These are the lessons that we learned. But it looks like in this thing we're still doing the same mistake. So that's why I say we shouldn't do it. So they don't see the benefits in it. Okay, so again, it's peeling off the layers and trying to work out what it is they've got a bugbear about, and then them coming up with a solution about, well, how would you do it differently? What would you do that would change this particular state of affairs? Those sorts of things. So try that. So let's go through again quickly. We've got try listening to them a little bit more, making sure that you're getting through all the whinges and whines to find out what it really is. Number 2, let them be part of the solution as much as you can. Number 3, park the corporate speak and let's talk something that's relative to them. Number 4, honesty is your best policy. That authenticity goes a long way. Number 5, don't mistake cynicism for pragmatism, because there might be something in there that they'd be able to teach you because they might have been around a bit longer than you. Okay, so let's try and work on that. Number 6 is work for your team. So it's really, really hard. If you're sitting in your ivory tower, if you're sitting in your office 24/7 and they hardly ever see you, it's going to be really hard for you to build a rapport with your team and stop them from, being really negative and all those sorts of things. So you need to get in and amongst it. Gone are the days where a team works for you. Actually, you now work as part of the team. Yes, you are the leader. Yes, you have to be the one that has the final say, but ultimately you're developing these people. You want these people to work autonomously. You want them to work as a team. You want to bring them together and communicate well. To do that, you're not going to be able to do that while you're sitting in your office. You need to be amongst it. They need to see you on a daily basis. Management by walking around is a really good clue in walking around, having a quick chat. How you going, Bob? Hi, John. Hi, Sally. Those sorts of things go a long, long way. And if they see you on a daily basis, they're going to start opening up and saying, hey, you know what, this other project that's coming down the line, we did that in 2011. This is what happened. This is what I think we should do differently next time. Wow, what an insight. Fantastic. Encourage that. Recognize that. Reward that. Okay, so let's just do a quick recap again. Make sure that you listen to them, unpeel all the whinging and moaning, and listen to what the things that they might be saying. Let them be part of the solution. Park the corporate speak, make it relative to them. Number 4, honesty is your best policy. So make sure you've got that authenticity. 5, don't mistake cynicism for pragmatism, because there might be stuff in there that they don't see a benefit in. So how do we dial up that benefit for them? Number 6, work for your team. So yes, you're the leader of the team, but you can't be a leader of a team if you never see them because you're stuck in your office. Okay, so make it a priority to get out and amongst it and talk and spend time and energy and focus on the people in your team. All right, so I hope that helps. That's the end of my notes. I hope that helps for you today. It's not an easy place to be when you've got a really negative team, but it's a matter of unpeeling it and turning it into really constructive conversations. And if we can get them to have skin in the game, if we can get them to have accountability of some of that stuff coming through, that's going to go a long way in turning their mindset around and having a little bit more of a positive speak and a positive spin on things. All right, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed your nuts and bolts this week. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask at teamleadertoolkit.com. If you've got a question, if you've got a problem, if you've got an issue, just let us know, and then we'll draw up a video for you exactly like this one, with your permission, of course, so that everybody can benefit from the answer. We've got a beauty on next week, so make sure you don't miss it. Next week, we've got what if one of your team has a personal problem and it's impacting their work? What are you going to do about it? So that's what we're going to talk about next week, so don't miss it. All right, so until then, bye for now. Have a brilliant rest of the week and a fantastic weekend. Bye.